Hey, how are you doing? Today, I wanted to walk you through a very typical compatibility spread that I use for when I have couple clients come to see me for sessions. Sometimes these couples are romantically involved, sometimes they're best friends, sometimes they're mother and daughter, sometimes they're people for whom they feel a past life connection. And so this compatibility spread is not really about um are we going to make it, right? From a romantic sense, are we going to make it, or what's our future life going to be as a couple, but more about what are the ways in which we connect or ways where we need a little bit more work. So for today, I am actually going to do Barbie and Ken. I don't know if you've seen the movie or not, but I thought it'd be like a fun hypothetical couple to use. And what I do is I pull one card for each person going up the main chakras, to get a sense of what energy is in alignment for them and what energy may not. So if you enjoy this, like definitely use it for yourself or for others. When I've used it with clients, it's often really great. It sparks them to have a lot of conversations with each other, and also some insight about how to care for each other in relationship with one another. So I'm going to turn on my document camera and then we're going to go right into it. So let's get started. So I've pulled some cards ahead of time to go up the chakra system for Barbie and Ken. And let me show you what are some of the ones that we have looked at so far. So here I have um, Barbie is on the left, Ken is on the right. And this is very interesting and really talks to a very distinct incompatibility between the two of them. They're going to have to work on together. So when we talk about the terms of the root chakra, right? This is the fires of our metabolism. This is what makes us feel rooted and safe and healthy and fills us with life force. We see two very different images. With Barbie, we see that this is someone to her health and her liveliness and her sense of connection with her life in the world. And her instinct is one that's very intuitive. It can turn on the dime. It can move very quickly. It may need lots of different ideas and adventures. Whereas Ken, with 10 of Pentacles reversed, is someone who works a little slower. We have that Pentacles, earth versus fire. Pentacles is, and especially 10 of Pentacles, needing a lot of protection, stability, reassurance, uh, like the needs to have all the things. So, for example, Barbie could just shove some clothes in a backpack and then get on a motorcycle and just see where she goes. But Ken, this is a big, big process with a lot of forethought and planning. So they're very different. Now, if we see their interactions with one another, we have this very quick and decisive force impacting 10 of Pentacles. So in a way that it makes it a reversal, that it's something he struggles with. So if I had them both sitting in front of me, what I would say is, oh, Barbie, you are so creative and so freedom loving and wanting to be a free bird. And he will try his hardest to keep up, but it's going to be really hard for him. And so both of them would have to really keep the other person's very, very different life force style, energetic life force style in mind, and try to come somewhere in the middle. Barbie needs to give Ken much more time to process. And Ken needs to use his words so that Barbie knows when it may be a little too fast for him. So if you've watched the Barbie movie, this really makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? And if you haven't, I'm not going to say any spoilers, but if you go watch the movie, and this is going to make a lot of sense. So our next one, so we're going to put this aside. And our next two cards are the both of them exploring their relationship with their orange chakra. Now, the orange chakra is our sacral chakra, and it is often concerned with our creativity, our sexual life, our pleasure, all of that good stuff. So I haven't even turned these around. You're seeing them at the same time that I'm going to see them. So with Barbie, what we have is inch. Wow. Oh my God. So 8 of cups for Barbie. And then we have, wow, page of cups for Ken. This makes a lot of sense again if you have seen the movie. But Barbie, it feels like that orange chakra along with that like 8 of wands kind of energy that she, if it's not working for her, she's out of there. And in fact, it may even be a discomfort with intimacy and sex, or if this isn't working for me, I'm totally open to just striking out and finding that which satisfies me erotically and creatively. But with Ken, we see a very different energy, emerge. So, Page of Cups, that for Ken, his sexuality and his emotional safety are tied together. Now, this is very common for what I see with male to female differences, that men tend to, and I don't know if this is the same as maybe trans men or trans masculine men. Like, please chime in if you could give me some insights. I would love to hear it. But for men, often there's this difference that men use sex in order to relax, but women need to be relaxed in order to have sex, right? Like, there's often that difference. And we see that here, that for Ken, sex is really also emotional expression for him. It allows him to get to more vulnerability, and he needs it to obtain that vulnerability. So again, we're seeing a little bit of a incompatibility here, because he wants to deepen this connection, and for her, she could take it or leave it a little bit. Like she definitely may be the type to want an open relationship, and he's like super super monogamous. So, and he needs sex in order to open up that part of his expression. So that would be something else I would talk about between the two of them, and explain that so that they're aware of those differences with one another. Now, the third chakra, our yellow, our solar plexus chakra, has to do with um our will, our like, what are we creating into the world? How are we being a force in the world? How are we claiming our boundaries? How are we getting our needs met? All of that is the will. And so for Barbie, I have Ace of Pentacles, and for Ken, we have another Page of Pentacles. Wow, that's really interesting. So already, like, the pages on Ken's side would clue me in to really thinking that there's something undeveloped or working to be developed within Ken, whereas we have much more stronger cards, especially here on the Barbie side. So Barbie, Ace of Pentacles, this is where she lives, is all about her will and what she wants. And when it's not working, she's out of there. But she goes as the wind, right? So we see a lot of that energy on her side. I'm just getting all these messages and insights, and I am running with it. And that's the energy. For those of you that do human design, like, if I were to call Barbie, I'd be like, girl is a manifestor for real, just looking at all of this. Whereas Ken may be more of a generator or even a reflector in human design, if that makes any sense to you. So, oh gosh, and I'm like, even from an Enneagram perspective, I mean, just looking at this, I could say that Barbie is like a one, with the Enneagram, a one, maybe a three on the Enneagram, like a very driver personality, whereas Ken is a little the opposite of that. So maybe like a nine, the peacekeeper, or hmm, hmm, hmm. Maybe even a seven, a little hedonistic, but I don't know yet. Like I wouldn't say 100% that's it. Maybe a two, um, if that's like fun for you. But anyways, so wow, wow, wow. So for her, her will is something that she's got in hand. And this is how she works in the world. Whereas Kin, it's something he's like, it is something he is a goal of his, it's aspirational that he wants to get to that place of his will and him really being connected, but he's not quite there yet. He's a student of that. So between the two of these, again, we're seeing the same kind of very interesting energy of um, Barbie has to hold very tricky space where she should never dim her light to be in relationship with Ken. But what she can do is be patient with Ken's slower process and allow him to figure it out in his own way, needs, and time. Now, it's interesting to me that both of them got pentacles for the yellow chakra, the will, which is that both of them like to see the actions of their will grounded in physical things. So salary, money, what they own, but also in the groundedness of the lifestyle they will create together. Very, very fascinating. And again, if you've seen the movie, this is going to make a lot of sense. So we now have come to the green chakra, our heart chakra. So the heart chakra is all about love, the language of our love, the way that we love, the way we need to be loved. And so, of course, this is really important in a compatibility reading. So here we have on this side, wow, of course, true to type, there is Barbie, King of Wands, in her love chakra, her heart chakra. And Ken is King of Swords reversed. Wow, in his chakra. So I would look at this as maybe love languages. So if I were to like really, really kind of make this really, like I would look at this and maybe I wouldn't say this, but I'd be like, I think poor Ken is maybe not getting the affirmations that he needs in his language. King of Swords reversed, that words like are really important. That could be his love language, like words of affirmation, and truth and all of that good stuff, and also loyalty. Whereas the King of Wands, I would say one of the love languages could be like actions or service. So I feel that um, she may be getting some of that, but she's still looking away. There may be something that she's feeling she's not quite getting from Ken. And Ken is the reversal, going like, why don't you love me in the language that I need? I'm giving to you. I need you to give to me. Again, very interesting. If these were humans, I'd be like, I don't, wow, they've got some work to do for sure. So the next chakra that we're going to look at is the throat chakra, our blue chakra, which is ways that we communicate and how we communicate to get those needs met and making sure that we stay on the same page. So I just pulled two more. So for Barbie, what we have is Two of Wands. Interesting, interesting. And for Ken, Ace of Wands reversed. Again, another reversal for Ken. I would say looking at this, they both really need to work on their communication skills. Um, and that I feel like he has not been as clear as maybe he would like, or that he's not sure how to express his needs or his feelings towards her. But he has so much passion and has a passionate voice for her and the relationship, but for some reason it's not being unlocked in the way that he best needs. And we have Barbie, and with her looking away at planning, is her communication is also blocked. Like she's really good at like ideas or planning, or like what we're going to do or not going to do, or what's the next, project. But what we see is neither one of them are really speaking from the heart. We also again see Barbie turned a little bit away from him. And also I feel like because Ace of Wands is such a sexual card, that he's definitely not feeling like he's getting his sexual needs met, and he doesn't know how to communicate that. And she's just running off to the next adventure. So I feel that she's not paying enough attention and like creating space for communicating with him, because she's off like on the next adventure. And also he is not communicating some of his lack and some of his needs well enough, though he would like to. If you saw the movie, it's crazy, right? Like how this is fitting. And so now we're going to travel up to our third eye, which is what's the intuitive, and even maybe transpersonal, psychic, spiritual connection beyond just the heart and the body and the voice. And so, and for Barbie, I picked this one, and for Ken, I picked this one. Oh, we have justice for Barbie. Oh no. And we have three of swords for Ken. So again, this is not necessarily about a prediction. And I got to be honest with you, I've never done a compatibility reading that was like this different and this dire. But what we see here is that again, intuitively, Ken is not feeling great about the relationship, doesn't feel like he's getting his emotional needs met, and has a lot of grief and sadness about the nature of the relationship. Justice on Barbie's end is she's very, very concerned just spiritually about the fairness of the relationship, ways where she feels he needs to level up, or ways where she's giving more or he's giving more, that there's a little bit of tit for tat, or like tallying up the relationship, which makes a lot of sense if you watch the movie. But these are very, very interesting. Again, we have some emotion, and this is a card of no emotion. So really looking at the evidence. And interestingly, the reading is fascinating because it really shows the bigger picture outside of just their relationship. And even if you haven't watched Barbie, there's a lot of themes around feminism and masculinity and emotional labor and finding your role and patriarchy, and all of this is totally fitting. So she is very concerned with the relationship being a model for what is right for her, and in general between men and women and those who identify as either. And Three of Swords is really the card of ways that we may not feel emotionally heard, or even seeing her justice as a personal attack rather than the larger system from which she's kind of operating. And of course, with all those pages we saw on his side in reversals, yeah, for him, it's personal. For her, it's political. And as there's a, what is it, common saying in feminism? The personal is the political. You're seeing it all freaking in play right here, which is so incredible. Now, the final two cards I'm going to do are the cards around the crown chakra, which is it is like the meet point between our higher selves and the cosmic. And this is less about the relationship, but more about like what are they coming down in? Like, what is the lineage, maybe spiritually, or what are they here to do karmically, and how that may influence or not the relationship. So what we have here is Seven of Pentacles, interesting, reversed for Barbie on the crown, and Seven of Swords reversed for Ken in his crown. But if we look at it dynamically, we see yet again Ken is looking towards her and she is not looking at him. And there is some karmic work for him in finding his voice and his honesty and his truth. Whereas for her, now, if she were sitting with me, I would be like, there has definitely been some past life energy around not being able to really nail your truth or do what you wanted to do or set out to do. Because Seven of Pentacles can also be frustration, but it can also mean the energy of like this not fruiting, this not coming to fruition in the way that I'm hoping. So she has some big karmic work around finally having something come to fruition after maybe a series of lifetimes where that hasn't happened, some work around that. And he has some very clear karmic work around honesty and truth and saying the hard things, and not like working on the sidelines. Like there could be some karmic past life stuff with him as well. So there you have it. That is the basic, very, very basic compatibility spread that I often do with my clients. It's typically not as dire as this, but if you've watched the Barbie movie, you could totally trace all of this in a lot of the themes. I did not choose these ahead; these were a complete random pull. But when we can play with these different ways of attuning to our energy, we get to a very quick, very effective, and very helpful compatibility reading for, again, couples, family members, friends, you name it, this works for them. So try it. And but here's the thing, don't do it first for you and somebody. I know you're going to run and do that, but do it for like with permission, or you can find a like a fake couple like I did, maybe from the movies, like Julia Roberts and Pretty Woman, like, or Thelma and Louise. Like find like a dynamic duo from the movies and first do this with that in mind before you do one a little closer to home. That will help you really nail the technique without your subjectivity kind of getting in the way. So I hope you like that and have lots and lots of fun. Bye.